The toddlers helped me set the pump on here yesterday. Got it all bolted down and hooked up, and it works. Looks like it's supposed to. The sucker rod attaches to the bottom of this shaft right there. Rack and pinion style old jack pump or windmill head pump. The next step is to pour the concrete pad here and erect the windmill, and of course that rod sticking out of the bottom of the windmill gearbox, the windmill head unit, attaches to this thing and pumps it up and down. I didn't make a detailed video on how I put the pipes down. I was going to show you how I used these tractor disc plow spacers, whatever you call them. These come apart. I found these in the local farm store on a shelf, and I thought, boy, those look like they'd make really good pipe ascenders for this steel pipe. And sure enough, I took a piece of 2-inch steel pipe and it just slid right into it. So I bought a set of those, about $50 for those, because it was going to be about $1,400 for a decent set of pipe ascenders, heavy duty enough for 2-inch galvanized steel pipe. So what we did, each 20-foot section, it had a collar on the top of it, and we just bolt that thing onto it. And see, I think the first piece we let down by hand. I welded together these 1/2-inch pieces of steel set on top of the well casing, just wide enough for the steel pipe to slide through, and it would rest on the flange, or of course that thing when it was tightened around it. And then we had a T with a piece on it about 18 inches long. We'd screw into the top of the next piece of pipe we wanted to put in, and we'd use our winch to lift it up off the trailer, and then we'd screw it into the next piece sticking out of the well, and we'd lift it up a little bit, and we would remove this one and slide this big plate off of there, and then we would send it down, and whenever the next piece got down, we would clamp this next one on. We just bolt it on right below the flange and tighten it up, and then we'd unscrew our T and go get another 20-foot stick. And that's how we did that. That's how we put that all together. But those worked really, really well. And the sucker rod, and here's actually an original piece that came with that old well pump. Really ancient, rusty old piece. This was the 5/8 inch to 7/16 adapter that was on it, but it was really rotten, so I ordered a new one off of Denver Wind Pump. But that's what the sucker rod inside there is, what screws onto the bottom of this shaft right there. Anyway, the sucker rod came in 20-foot sections as well, and they're really, really light. Thankfully, they were really easy to handle. I had this lawnmower blade, and its hole was just exactly the same size as this rod, so I just used an angle grinder, cut a notch out there. So we do the same thing as we did with the 2-inch pipe, but we just set this on top of the 2-inch pipe instead of the 8-inch pipe, and we just slide these down, and it would rest on it. We'd clamp some vice grips and let it rest on that, and then we'd screw a bolt into the coupler on top of the other piece of sucker rod and use the winch to lift it up, and we'd screw them together, and we'd take the vice grips off and this piece off and send it down. And whenever that next piece came down to the top of the 2-inch pipe, we'd do the same thing, just vice grips under that nut and let it rest on that. And so we put 13 full 20-foot sticks, or actually they're 21. And then I went and bought about 12 foot of 5/8 inch all thread to finish it out. I have one brand new piece of sucker rod left over. The guy ordered me 14. I needed 13, but he ordered me 14. Accidentally, I guess. 21-foot sticks. Yep. I got one piece left over. But anyway, they came with these coupler nuts. And I was putting these couplers on the ends of all 14 or 13 sticks, all the sticks anyway, but about halfway through I went to tighten this one up and it split. The whole thing just split. I just barely tightened it. So we decided we didn't want to put them down in there because they seemed cheap. So we actually went and bought a whole different set of just regular coupling nuts, 7/16, and used those and just threw these in the scrap bucket because the ones we bought were a little, like the ones you can buy at the hardware store, a little bit thicker and seemed heavier, but I don't know why they sent these seemingly cheap, thin little couplers, but we didn't end up using the ones that came with it. It's the information I have to give thus far. I guess I'll post another video when we're moving along towards getting the windmill set up. Now that we've verified that the pump works, we're going to have to take that big timber down and get it out of the way carefully so we can pour our concrete pad and put up the windmill. So that's it for now.